Welcome to Bummashers. Today we're talking about EA. There is Zeppelin that's on fire and falling and crashing. I don't know what to tell you. This is according to an article. Insider Gaming, where Electronic Arts is laying off 300 to 400 people, including 100 at Respawn Entertainment. Um, it says in a new report from Jason Schreier, Bloomberg, somewhere between 300 and 400 people were let go from company. That includes roughly 100 people already confirmed and impacted at Respawn Entertainment after it canceled 2 games. As part of our continued focus on long-term strategic priorities, we've selected changing within our organization that are more effective, aligning with teams, allocating resources in service of driving growth, EA Justin Higgs told Jason Schreier in a statement. First off, I think a lot of that growth's going to The Sims, just pumping out kits. I'll be honest. Anyways, let's continue with the article. In addition to the layoffs, Schreier says that one of the canceled game Respawn was an extraction shooter set in the Titanfall universe. I've never played Titanfall, so I don't know, but I can understand like extraction shooter if it's going to be a battle royale or sort of a live service game. Then maybe it's a good thing that they pulled the plug because there's so many live service games on the market at this point. And many companies already tried to put their hand in and failed. Only one that actually sort of did well was Marvel Rivals, and it took away from Overwatch 2, but I think partially that was because of Marvel's brand IP, but also it filled the void that sort of Overwatch didn't. I mean, Overwatch literally just killed itself throughout like the past few years through bad decisions. So I think Marvel Rivals sort of came in and filled that. That was Overwatch. I mean, that's my opinion. Goes on to EA is scheduled to report its Q4s and FY 2025 earnings on May 6th. Expect that layoffs will be addressed alongside the full 2026 financial forecast during the call. And here's the issue. If let's say that there's more loss of profit and stuff, there may be more cuts to, let's say, then they're going to address the financials, and it may be worse than we know. Literally botched a Dragon Age franchise, a game that should sell well. They literally botched The Sims, and honestly, as a sort of jaded simmer and bitter one, I'm just like, let it burn, dude! You know? I mean, I'll be honest, I'm just like, you get what you reap. And it's because, like, I know about Dragon Age, they literally didn't listen to the fans and told them they were wrong and made a story that was essentially I don't know, it was like a therapy session for the writer. I don't know, it was very awkward, especially that scene at dinner where it was where essentially Tosh was telling her mom or their mom that they were non-binary, and it's like, I'll go get the potatoes in the kitchen while you tell this to your mom, Tosh. This is getting eerily awkward. And it felt like an awkward scene. And not in a good way of awkward. It's just like, ugh. And especially when you got people who are not passionate about the game, but passionate about their politics and will essentially wreck the game and put their politics in ham-fistedly and will lecture you every second, it's not going to work out. And also, it's just like, if you don't have passionate gamers running, the show, it's not going to work. I mean, that's why Claire Obscure Expedition 44 did well. For all of Blizzard's faults, I'll be honest, they were ran by a team of freaking nerds who love games. So that's what really worked well for them. And they're literally right now. There's from what I heard on YouTube and stuff, there is literally a survey going around asking gamers or simmers, my bad, of what they of 8 questions about Enzo and what they think of the game and what features they want from Enzo into The Sims. And it's like, um, you all need to fix The Sims. The thing is, The Sims has its own charm from Enzoy, and I think if EA would, instead of nickel and diming the customers every freaking second and fixing their games, I think they'd have more profits with The Sims and have like more of the old time simmers and just simmers in general come back instead of having to be forced to deal with a broken game. I mean, they still have For Rent that is a mess from what I heard online. I know they said they were fixing it, but it's like, yeah, they haven't fixed shit. And this is what I said with AI too, because they were asking about AI technologies that were in Android that they want to implement into The Sims, and it's like, okay, it's bound to happen, but it seems like taking EA's word, just SimTeam's word, at face value is not going to do you well. Even if they said that they weren't going to implement AI, they've had is going around asking people about Enzo's features. So there's that. But on top of that, EA has been in many controversies over the years. I think I'm just catching up to them. They had a lot of loot boxes controversy, especially with the Star Wars Battlefield. They had the controversies with The Sims. I don't even want to go into that one. Fucking dumpster fire. And I think all these are catching up to them. Now, I think times are sort of more tougher and stuff, and people have less money to spend. It's like, or people are, being more cutthroat on their spending, so to speak. I'll be honest, at the end of the day, you gotta be cutthroat with your spending because that's your money you earned, your hard earned money, but that's, so a totally different story. Anyways, it says the article continues in 2025, over 2,000 old jobs have been lost across nearly 60 companies in the gaming industry. Insider Gaming has made multiple attempts to contact EA for clarification on layoffs. The studio impacted and more. As for publishing, no response has been received. And here's the issue. I think this is going to be an industry wide trend because I think a lot of companies are realizing that this sort of AAA model of expansive worlds and stuff aren't sustainable. And also the problem is when you have companies who don't listen to the customers or essentially have this sort of antagonistic relationship with their customers, of course it's going to fail. Like everyone's been asking, and this is in EA's case, everyone's been asking for them to fix the game and not to put more kits. I mean, I'll be honest, I think it's a little unrealistic for them to make money, but I would think they'd maybe just release like one kit every so often and and go get to the bottom of fixing the game because the Sims 4 has been neglected so much. At this point, it's like a freaking Jenga game. Like, you keep pulling out the pieces and the whole thing's gonna fall. A lot of Simmers are just tired of having their games saved corrupted every single second and them not doing anything. From what I understand, there's a certain bug with For Rent that essentially corrupts your save and your game. And that shouldn't be happening with a game. That shouldn't be happening with any game. And that's why I'm ready to give, I'll be honest, Enzo a little more leeway than they should, because I gave The Sims so much leeway in when The Sims 4 first came out that at the end of the day, it would be unfair to do the same for Enzo. That isn't to say you shouldn't be sort of a map, but just send in your feedback nicely to them. So EA's loot box controversies. So I think all the bad decisions are catching up with EA. And this ain't with just EA in general. I think this is going to be an industry-wide trend where all the bad decisions for the past year are going to haunt them. And I mean haunt them. Because people are being either one, they don't have the money to spend, or two, they're just being more aware of how they spend their money and where it's going to. And I think people will go out of their way to pay for a good game. I mean, the Claire game proved that, and so did Elder Scrolls Oblivion prove that. And that game was $50, so I think people will go out of their way to pay for a good game. It's just the industry has been putting out slop after slop, and you've got people who are essentially calling the customers chuds, any faux isto, whatever, the week of the day, the faux biz, I guess, or ista, and it's not going to work out. Regardless of economic circumstances, you can't have a company that is a hobbyist company and be at odds with your customer. It's not sustainable at the end of the day. And this is what from the I did a podcast episode by Yoko Taro. I mean, my bad, Yoko Taro, who made Nier and was talking about AI. But this is what the person said, and Emerald Apple, and I think this resounds with a lot of the people. At least I will be able to play a game instead of having to pick type 1, 2, body, and pronouns. And then this is by Anthony Mirage. Good, humans can't even make a game anymore without politicizing it. And I think those two speak to why, those comments speak to why gamers are just upset. Because we're just tired of politics and the patronizing and all this bullshit. And you can tell, like, the atmosphere on Twitter, because it's not just the left gamers crazy, like the lunatic leftist gamers after. There is also some pretty fringe right, like Melanie Mac, John Del Orez, and Yorch, who gamers are just done with and telling them to go fuck off. I mean, Gunagate 2, which was started by Melanie Mack, and gamers snapped back at her because I think we're just tired of political nonsense from both sides of the aisle. So it's, of course, we just want games that are fun, which is something that I can't disagree with. I think that's what both sides of the aisle, to be honest, are missing at the end of the day. But anyways, what do you guys think? Are you kind of a bitter simmer like me who's happy to see AA burn? Anyways, stay healthy, stay hydrated, happy gaming, bye!